Excited because I get to talk old school bodybuilding. Specifically, we're going to be going over today, though, not just for those who want to get into bodybuilding, but actually for anybody who wants to put on a little bit of muscle and boost their metabolism, and the 5 steps which has worked now for the past 50 plus years in order for you to be able to do that. So whether you're looking to put on 3, 4, 5 pounds, or you're looking to put on 25 pounds, these are the specific steps that Mike Mentzer actually gave all of us in order to do that. So although I'm no longer in the bodybuilding stratosphere and it's something that I particularly do, I still love strength training. I still love to work out. I still love hanging out with people in this particular field. So one of the things that we want to realize is that we can learn a lot from those people in the past that have tried and experimented with their own body. They've written it down, they've taught it to others, and it's worked for hundreds, if not, hundreds of thousands of people from around the world. If you've never heard of Mike Mentzer before, he is someone in the bodybuilding community that a lot of people have looked up to, physique-wise. He obviously, I should say, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but most people that are competing in bodybuilding were using anabolic steroids, still are using anabolic steroids. His generation, or when he was training, was kind of during the time of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Columbu, and a lot of the greats back then. He competed essentially during like 1971 to 1980, and then retired shortly after that. He won Mr. America, he won Mr. Universe, he actually won Mr. Olympia, but he came in second overall. So he won his weight class, but second overall in the Olympia. I think Tom Platz, came in first overall. I can't remember that particular year. I think that was 79. And just a great physique, just a very well balanced, but his training routine was a little bit different. And I actually want to share that with you here today. Different enough though, that people experimented with it and it's still talked about to this day. This isn't actually a topic that I thought I was going to talk very much about, but it's become so popular on YouTube. Mike Mentzer is making this big comeback. Unfortunately, he's passed away, but his training now lives on. So he's got a couple books. If this podcast interests you and you want to go a little bit deeper, you can check out 2 of his books. One is High Intensity Training with Mike Mentzer, and the other one is called Heavy Duty. So you're welcome to check those out. I can link them up for you here today. Just head on over to stevencabral.com/2855, and I'll drop in those 5 steps as well for you right now. But the first of those 5 steps is this. And I don't think that this one will come of any shock to you, but it's important because most people aren't following it and they're hoping for different results. So if you want to build muscle, we need to build strength. It's quite important because over time, the best way to be able to track if you're making progress is if you're getting stronger. Now, there will be, of course, people who disagree, but over the last 50 years or so, it's pretty straightforward that your goal is with each and every workout. Not every workout has to be a personal best, but if you're looking to add more muscle, then you are looking to say, am I getting stronger? If you're getting stronger for 2 main reasons. One, neurological. But if you've been weightlifting for a long time, it's unlikely that you're getting that much better neurologically at lifting a weight, like to be able to balance and stabilize and all those things. So you very likely may have added a little bit more muscle, or at least better motor unit control. So the first thing that Mike Mentzer said, agree or disagree, is that you should track your progress each and every workout. And your goal will actually be to add an extra rep or a little bit of weight with each workout. So really important that we look at this. And then when you're no longer getting results with that workout, then you can switch that workout. But it's also not imperative that you switch the workout if you're still getting results. So I think that that's one thing to look at as well. That's number 1. All right, the second thing that he said is that you want to eat slightly above caloric maintenance. He was not someone, this is very different about Mike Mentzer as well. He is not someone that used to gain 70, 80, 100 pounds away from his show weight. There are people that compete at 230, that literally get up to 300 pounds, like in bodybuilding based community and beyond. So what I want to share with you is that he believed in somewhere around like a 10% to 20% caloric surplus, and that would enable you to make sure you are in an anabolic state. So the way to be in a more anabolic state is to always make sure that your body is not searching for more carbohydrates, searching for more fatty acids from fat, or more amino acids from protein. So Mike Mentzer always believed in making sure that you're eating throughout the day. There was not a lot of course, intermittent fasting back then. You can still do intermittent fasting, but it will be slightly detrimental to being in an anabolic state, because the longer you fast, the more you move towards a catabolic state. So making sure that you get your surpluses on protein, carbs, and fat, not necessarily in just one particular area. All right, the third step to being able to add more muscle is training to failure. This is something that's absolutely controversial, but every single workout, Mike Mentzer trained to failure. That is not necessarily recommended for every individual, but on Mike Mentzer plan, it's very different, and here's why. Most bodybuilders would train 4 to 5 days a week. So they might do upper, lower, all different types of splits. They might do 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off. They might do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, weekends off. That would probably be like the smallest, the minimum routine. Or they might, the least amount of training would be like every other day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and you would just rotate. Didn't matter, because your full-time job obviously was bodybuilding. Here's what Mike Mentzer did. Throughout his career, he trained less and less, but he trained with more intensity. He would take 3 to 4 days off between workouts, which is pretty wild when you think about it. So nobody else was really doing that. But here's how he was training though. He would do 1 to 2 warm-up sets, and then he would do 1 set all out to failure with good form, of course, but he would also use negatives or potentially drop sets. So that 1 set may last a minute to 2 minutes, and it would usually be between a rep range of 6 to 10. His warm-up sets might be 10 to 12. Typically, that's what he recommended. I've listened to all of his videos and seminars and teachings, especially back in the day. But 6 to 10 reps is typically where he was at. And they would be slow, controlled, and to failure and beyond. So typically there was always a partner to be able to watch form, to spot, to help with negatives, which if it was like a bench press, you take it down slowly on your own, they help lift it back up. You take it down then slowly on your own. And this is brutal training, like anybody who's ever done that before. But what it created was the greatest amount of stimulus. But he would only do 1 set because Mike was a really smart guy. He realized that it was more strain on the nervous system than anything else. And it would lead to more exhaustion and poor recovery. And the only time the muscles would repair was during recovery. So he would break them down over that 1 set. And then he would somewhat go by how he felt for when he should train again, because he would need to be fully recovered before training. Because if you train on top of already broken down muscle tissue, you're actually getting detrimental results. And so Mike was really smart in that regard, where he was looking at inflammation, he was looking at how his body felt, and he was always looking at, am I stronger next workout? That goes back to point number 1. Because if he was weaker, he's overtraining. I took that when I started working with athletes. I realized, and I work with a lot of high school athletes that were like Olympic hopefuls, they would sometimes be getting worse times, and their parents would call me and they're like, what's going on? Can we do more strength training? Can we do whatever? I would say, at this age, yes, we're going to do strength training. But if their times are going down, what's their sleep look like? What's their training schedule look like? Well, they're in the pool 6 days a week. This is from one of my more famous swim-based athletes. And I said, they're doing homework after school. They're in the pool at 6 a.m. They're getting up at 5. This is a 13, 14-year-old, kid. They're not recovering enough. I'm guaranteeing you, try this out for 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Their times will improve if they train less. You need to work with a coach on this. And then we'll start the strength training and we'll see an even better boost. or we need to get more sleep, or we just had to change the regimen. And so instead of then going to bed at 10, waking up at 5, I mean, that's not even enough sleep for an adult. We went to bed earlier. They didn't want to, but I said, let's just try this. We started to go to bed earlier, and their recovery improved, which is my next point. Step number 4, rest and recovery. So you literally need to recover in order to be able to train that hard. But if you train that hard, you get more muscle tissue breakdown. But then if you add the recovery to it, which is the sleep and the days off, you now give yourself more of an anabolic environment. Catabolic is when you're working out, breaking down. Anabolic is when you're rebuilding. So Mike Mentzer would take a nap sometimes mid-afternoon. He would get plenty of sleep at night, and he got great results from it. And he trained both clients on steroids and natural. He himself trained while on steroids and also while off steroids. What he found was that while he was on testosterone, so when he was on anabolic steroids, he could recover faster. That was a big thing. When he wasn't on anabolic steroids, it took him a little bit longer, and he actually had to add a day or 2 more between workouts. That's when he started to go to every 4 days, basically, was his workout routine. Very interesting. So again, you can never compare your results in your training to someone on social media that's on some type of steroid. You know, it's just not fair to compare. You can't recover as quickly. You can't uptake protein synthesis in the same way. And Mike Mentzer knew this, so he was very fair for all of his clients. The last one is this: replenishing nutrients. Mike Mentzer believed in a balanced diet. He believed in not eliminating carbohydrates. He believed in enough protein, of course, and enough healthy fats. He didn't go overboard. He got in plenty of water per day. He was one of those bodybuilders that would bring the water with him, which was interesting. And he would use nutritional supplements even back then, which was very interesting too in the 1970s. So those were his top 5. Build strength, that's paramount. Eat slightly above caloric needs. So if you eat X amount to weigh 180 pounds, okay, well, you need to go above whatever you're eating. If you're eating 2,500 calories per day, then you need to add another 250 to 500 calories every single day. That's it. You might do 250 on your off days and 500 on your workout days. And it just depends on how quickly you want those gains to be. When I went from 160 something pounds to almost 200 pounds, I didn't change my height, right? My height was always the same. I did that by actually dramatically increasing. I followed this plan. I mean, I really did. I trained more than I should have. I really did. I would have gotten better results if I went to more of Mike Mentzer's plan, but I love training. That's the problem with a lot of people. So I would do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. What I really should have done was just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Thursday, Sunday, and then just kind of keep going with the 2 days off minimum in between. So that is that. I hope this was helpful. Obviously, this is not the end all be all, but Mike Mentzer then taught this to Dorian Yates and many other successful bodybuilders after him who followed the same style of regimen and got the results they were looking for. So if you've hit a little bit of a plateau, you're not making the gains that you want, just ask yourself, am I doing these 5 particular steps? Maybe not to the degree of Mike Mentzer, but am I incorporating them so that I can get a little better results that I'm getting today? Please do feel free to comment below. I'd love to read your comments. Any additional show ideas, I would love to hear those as well. As always, thank you so much, and do feel free to share the show with anyone you believe it could serve. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.